Good afternoon and welcome. Light Fair is in the rearview mirror, and we are once again preparing for our next set of exciting and informational Inside ProCents interviews. The second half of 2022 is going to be extremely entertaining. Today, we begin by showcasing an organization that we here at ProCents belong to and that we believe is running in parallel with the ProCents promise when it comes to the connected focus of buyers and sellers within the industry, and the desire to help them get sticky and create residual relationships that both sides can leverage. NALMCO is getting prepared to launch its 69th annual convention. That's crazy. This October. Those are some serious years in operation for sure, and we are excited to place a spotlight on them in today's Inside ProCents interview. As always, our purpose is very simple: to showcase our members and partners to shed a little light on that value that ProCents is providing to our industry players, but most of all, to let that value be heard directly from our members' lips. My name is Devin Anderson, and I am the president over here at ProCents, and I am joined once again by my friends in the ProCents leadership team, Mr. J.R. Edens and Mr. Matt Russell, our CEO. Matt, would you like to say a few words?
Well, this is an exciting one just because it's one of the organizations that we belong to and that has given us value. So I'm excited for everyone to see and hear from Erik. One of the reasons I belong to his organization, and ProCents will continue to belong to the NALMCO organization.
Right on, right on. All right, well, let's get this party started. As noted above, today our focus shines a light not on one of our members, but on an organization that we believe overlaps our mission and one that we support wholeheartedly and recommend to any lighting professional operating in today's C&I space. Please welcome, in Latin, the ex officio as a part of the NALMCO Board of Directors and a hell of a guy, Mr. Erik Ennen. How you doing, Erik?
Doing great. Thank you for the welcome, and thank you for having me today.
Right on. All right, let's go ahead and get this party started. As always, we begin by having our guest give some insight into their organization. So, Erik, tell us a bit about NALMCO and why you have, why you have associated yourself with the organization personally, and give us some insight into where you think NALMCO is heading and what impact you believe it is poised to have on tomorrow's buyers and sellers within the lighting industry.
Great. Yep. So I have been involved with NALMCO since 2007. My initial interest was the industry certifications that they offered. So I earned my CLMC with NALMCO. And from there, that kind of, with that interest and background with utility rebate programs and work on multiple buildings, I got involved with the certification committee. So I served on that committee since the following year, 2008. From there, my work on the committee, we did a lot of updates back in 2010 to 2013 as the industry was shifting. LEDs were coming up on the horizon, and was more involved in the committee. I served as the certification committee chair, and then as vice president board of directors for 2 terms. Each term was 2 years. So I have been involved with the NALMCO board since 2016. And then again, kind of branching out from there with lighting industry events, associations, whether that's IES, Light Fair, Association of Energy Engineers. The lighting industry is a pretty tight-knit group, so there's a lot of players and perspectives in the industry. And if we kind of look where we're going, if you think about lighting, it's in every building that we have. And the health aspect is becoming more prevalent these days, education, assisted living. And if we look to the future a lot more LED lighting in general is going to be involved with horticulture, agriculture, space. They've done some tests on the International Space Station with circadian rhythms and stuff. So I think a lot's going to be coming where, you're going to need qualified people with certifications, not only to install it, but manage it and make sure that it's operating the way it was designed intent. If you look back 50 years, lights were on and off. We didn't worry too much about the energy prices. Well, that's the opposite is flipped today, where energy savings is huge. How do we get to that level? A lot more with the circadian rhythm, the human-centric part of life for lighting, and then as well as, where it's going to go. How are we going to grow stuff and areas that, aren't as good as they were 20 years ago. A lot more of that's going to be indoor, I think.
Absolutely. What you're basically saying in a nutshell is technology.
Yep.
So much technology has dropped on our
Yep.
industry that just doing the work like, in the old way is not enough anymore. And if you want to capture tomorrow, you have to take the time to learn about what tomorrow is and how you can then integrate that into your own business model. So that leads into the next question, which is perfect because I've been a part of NALMCO. It looks like at this point now, I think it's over 6 years.
Okay.
My first NALMCO friend, the first person I met was Christina Calloway, wonderful woman. I believe she's still a part of the board.
Yep.
And has been around for many, many, many years. And one of the things that that I have always been interested in and also admired about NALMCO is the educational factor of bringing the future into the people that are a part of your organization through certifications. So talk to us, our audience, a little bit about the types of educational opportunities that NALMCO provides and what those certificated opportunities mean to the industry at large.
First off, a lot of our certifications have to be updated because of the speed the lighting industry is moving. If we had a great certification 10 years ago, that's pretty much outdated if you look at that technology versus what's available today. Industry recognition is the other big thing. A lot of NALMCO members and individuals want to distinguish themselves in the industry with certifications. So having initials and some letters behind their name, that gives them the opportunity to speak to that they're part of NALMCO, what that certification involves, and what they did to earn that and how that differentiates them from other people in the industry. In 2016, I was part of the effort that we launched the first lighting control certification in the industry. All of our certifications are online, on demand for lighting training and certification. We also hold 2 in-person events where we offer in-person training and certification opportunities as well in person. That's our spring seminar, usually in March or April of the year. Then our annual conference is held in October. And this year that will be in Phoenix, and we'll get to that a little later as well. It's also a great tool, these certifications, for growing and expanding your business. It provides a more fluent workflow. Your office staff is speaking the same language as the technicians. A warranty or service call comes in, they can translate that to the technician out in the field. If they have the equipment on the truck, they can go and take care of that. Otherwise, if they send them out and think they have the product and they don't, then it's another callback and service call. So understanding that kind of common language and training, we have a lot of NALMCO members that institute those certifications all the way from their office staff to their technicians and salespeople.
Yeah, no, I think again, I always try to condense what I hear into a single sentence that makes sense to me. And what I heard from you is always learning mentalities are kind of the way of today's professionals. If you're going to keep up with what's happening, everything is changing on a dime. Every time we turn around, we think we know it, and the evolution happens, and suddenly the technology is growing. So what NALMCO is doing here, I think, is very relevant and necessary because it allows its members to constantly stay up to date and get those certifications up to date on any changes that are happening. So I love that. All right, let's go ahead and move towards the fun part of the show, which is with our Mr. Matt Russell, our CEO, our friend, our mentor, our drinking buddy, and the guy that usually has a cigar in his hand. So go ahead, Matt, bring some light to this darkness that we've created.
Yeah, I put the cigar out a little earlier, so sorry, guys. I'm glad Eric's drinking for me. NALMCO has been a huge part of my growth within the industry. I got introduced into the lighting world as we know it with a large player back in 2014. 2015, I got to attend my first NALMCO. And I remember meeting, I think the president at the time, Steve Katz, and at the new member reception. And one of the first things that jumped off to me is he didn't ask what my business was or, or trying to sell me what his business was. He's like, who are you here to meet? And let me introduce you, because everyone that is good at trade shows already knows who they're targeting at trade shows, because you believe that's going to be your benefit. So Steve, being president, he took me, introduced me to these people and said, hey, this is Matt. He's with one of our associate members, and you should have a conversation with him. And that warm introduction, even though I didn't do business with that particular client, it opened the door for me to start doing business with so many others. And at the end of that conference there in October, they said, to find the benefit within the organization, you got to get involved. So this, immediately following that, I joined the, I think it was the membership committee at that time, which was a lot of fun. And I still spent a lot of time with the team there, splitting time between both communications committee and membership. And that's kind of some of the stuff that I brought into ProCents. It's like, if you're going to find value, you're going to find new revenue streams, you got to be active. You've got to be constantly engaged. And that was something that I learned at NALMCO. Now, that's a pretty basic education. That's not lighting related. That's just being personal and being a person that does what they say they're going to do. But I at that time already had a certification through the ALA, which unfortunately doesn't have reciprocity with NALMCO. But the thing I love about NALMCO, and you mentioned the other organization earlier today on the call, is the AAAE and the reciprocity. So I would like for you to talk about, those educations, because yes, you talk about the 2 seminars and the online, which is absolutely awesome. But if you can just go over some of those certifications, I'm not going to get them all, but like the CALT, the CSLT, and speak to that. That way, those that are going to see this and hear this at a later point, they go, well, that could be something I do. The CLMC is a very extensive test. The CLEP, MP or EP is an extensive test as well. But as someone coming into the industry and trying to get that jargon or the industry knowledge down, what are some of those tests, and how's that helping cultivate our next group of leaders within the lighting industry?
Yeah, so I'll start off, I can break it down pretty simply. We have 2 technical certifications, and those are our apprentice lighting technician and senior lighting technician. And then we have 2 professional certifications, the CLMC, certified lighting management consultant, and then our controls professional, certified lighting controls professional. The nice thing is that all of them are online on demand. So people don't have to fly somewhere, spend a week, work on travel, get behind on work. They can do it at their own pace, at their own time, and go online, review the content. Once they take some sample questions and they feel comfortable with the content, they can take the online exam. Some great opportunities that we're doing with our apprentice lighting technician, which is kind of our base level entry, a lot of glossary terms, what's what, some basic energy calculations. We're actually promoting that now to some trade tech schools, for post high school. And I've also done a project out of San Diego where we're working with a trade tech high school. So as a junior, they would take the apprentice lighting technician. As a senior, they take the senior lighting technician when they graduate from high school. They got certifications that are very appealing to a contractor, which the trades are looking to hire qualified people that have, it distinguishes themselves and helps the contractor because they have a great person that already has some background knowledge and they can put them to benefit right away.
Yeah. Well, and that's awesome to hear. And hopefully a father or mother or a young high school student will hear this. I won't name the company, but I have a very close personal story, and I heard it last night and I didn't realize it happened because I made an introduction to a young man that just graduated this year, turned 18 earlier this year. So I said, hey, if you're looking for a job in the Florida area, you should reach out to one of these 2 folks. And he did. And I was having dinner last night with his father, and he said he starts next week and his starting salary without any education is $60,000.
Crazy.
To come into the lighting industry and start learning at 18 years old. which is absolutely amazing. Now he's going to go to school while also working, but that's what the lighting industry can do. I mean, and the sky's the limit of what we can do. And I know so many people within NALMCO, and NALMCO has afforded me the opportunity to create my own business and have great folks like Davin and JR on the team and expand my reach. And that's absolutely amazing. That's due to the network and just the camaraderie of helping each other. And people think the lighting industry or the energy space is such a big industry, but it's really not. When you get involved, it's drilled down and it's very personable. And that's the thing I love about the organization. And I hate to say it, but it's one of the things that holds true to me. But NALMCO feels like a family reunion to me because you see people. And I always tell people why I love this industry is because I work with my favorite aunts and uncles all the time because they're always having a good time, but they work hard and they play hard. Not to, get on the party side of it.
You're never far from it, my brother.
Yeah, never far from it. But that kind of leads me into my next question. Obviously, we got the NALMCO Fall Convention coming up in Glendale, Phoenix, Arizona. I think it's the 16th through the 19th. And I'm absolutely ecstatic about it to be there. I know I've been reaching out to people. I've seen the itinerary in the LM&M magazine recently released. So if you haven't seen that, please check it out. We might put a link in the bio to give everyone a reference, but give some people a taste of what this year's at the 69th anniversary, what they can expect if they were to come as a first timer. Because I don't want to toot their NALMCO's horn. That's what you're here for.
Yeah, thank you. So again, I'm going to start off with the new member reception. That starts Sunday evening. And again, you had the dates correct, October 16th through October 19th. The Renaissance Phoenix Glendale Hotel, Glendale, Arizona. And we start off with that. So anyone that is new or is a first-time attendee, they really have a point of contact. We welcome them. We introduce who the board of directors are. And then if there's any questions, they have a contact point that says, hey, I'm interested in this. They always have someone they can ask or, get introduced with and kind of have their own little kind of tour guide, as they navigate the conference, what's coming up, what to do, where to be at, and who's who, really. So that's really first, we really want to welcome them and get them comfortable and see how NALMCO can benefit them. Then we move on to Monday. We start with our speakers. We have some great training on a number of different, keynotes. There'll be a lot of industry updates, supply chain, economies, global events, and how that's impacting lighting. What are the manufacturers doing? How's that impacting warranties? How's that impacting jobs? And of course, labor, which we've always heard everyone's looking for labor. What are we doing to, what are people finding is working for them? Is it opportunities? Is it pay? Is it flexibility? Is it travel? One of the other great things we have that's kind of unique to our NALMCO conference is what we call our NALMCO speed dating. And that's where we have the opportunity to interact and meet everybody for 2 minutes, get their card, exchange information. What do you do? And then you move on. So it's a great chance. I mean, some conferences you go to, you only meet about a third of the people. We really pride ourselves on this because you really get to meet everybody that's there, understand what they do. And now you got a contact for follow-up conversations, business opportunities, networking, etc. And of course, the great location and venue. And then, as we know, we have the networking fun side. So we have great evening receptions, a chance to hang out and kick back, and there's sports events or fun going on or activities that all kind of factors in. So it's a great, not only work, business, continuing education, but that family fun side, reconnecting. We've seen that attendance trending up ever since COVID. A year ago, we actually increased our numbers quite a bit there in the last month as people felt more comfortable to travel to Florida. We had great attendance at our spring seminar, also in Florida in October. So we're looking forward to another great, well-attended event that's gonna, get back to kind of whatever normal was before the new normal.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that conference.
Well, and I'm glad you brought up the speed dating. And one of the things that NALMCO does is the certification. They do that very well. But with the speed dating, you have the opportunity to meet everyone. Now, luckily, the one thing that I've found is as one of the associate members, we have anchor points, whether it be a booth or a table on the show floor. And that speed dating is not to get into a 5-minute dialogue. It's to say, hey, I may say, hey, if you do labor only and don't buy any materials, I may not be a good fit for you. ProCents is not a value add for you. But at this stage, it's not to say we won't change that, but we have the opportunity to say, all right, well, we're not going to do that, but hey, you do this and you do this. Hey, let's talk at the booth, or let's set up another time and really dive into it. Which is what we need. We need to have multiple conversations, because nothing's done in one conversation, and NALMCO provides that environment for multiple conversations to be had where business can be done, and new revenue streams can be uncovered if you're willing to have those conversations at the speed dating, and then also making those one-on-one appointments either at the associate member's booth or, at, lunch or dinner at some of the other times. So that's a good way to do it. And because luckily breakfast, lunch, and dinner are all provided within the NALMCO annual convention, you can sit down with them and you're eating. So your guard's down, you're actually able to interact more and get to know more about the person. You say, well, I may not do business with them today, but I can certainly recommend them. And that's what NALMCO is about. It's creating those synergies that, really help people thrive in this space that is very competitive.
Yeah, no, I think what you just said there, Matt, is really important, because there's 2 points that I want to highlight. One is based on what you just said, which is the opportunity for the connection and the opportunities within the show to have multiple connected opportunities to try to build an opportunity for a future of conversation and relationship, which, as we all know, those things take time. They take, deliberate interest, responses, and things like that. So the idea that you have that catalyst at NALMCO and the ability to kind of re-engage those things at every single event, I think is very special. But I think what makes NALMCO even more special, and I'm just going to take it to my own experience with NALMCO. That first time that I was there, I knew nobody. I mean, I've been in the industry for a long time. I had a lot of relationships, but I really didn't know the NALMCO members. And within being there for almost 15 minutes, I met Christina. She's on the board. Christina didn't just say hi. She said hi. She asked me about what I was doing, why I was there. And then, kind of like what the experience that Matt had, she led me by the hand into all these different, what I call click groups, because there were a lot of groups kind of talking to each other, and introduced me to each one of them, which opened the door for better relationships within that industry, within that moment, that also fostered greater relationships down the road. And now, like Matt described, it does feel like a family reunion. The people that I have gotten to know at NALMCO are friends, they're family, they're people that I absolutely love. And I look forward to those moments where we can spend time and just shoot the shit. So it's a really important thing for people that maybe don't know about NALMCO, are thinking about it, to know that this group of board members, it's not the same as going to a trade show. It's not a trade show really in that sense. It is a relationship show. And if you come there, you will walk away with new friendships. And if you do the right things on the outside of the meeting itself and follow up and make those connections, you'll have a much greater sense of what the industry can provide you through a NALMCO lens. It's very, very important.
Yeah. And that's the great thing about it. Is those relationships that you don't find that at the other shows. You have, you can go to other shows and they're great. I will not speak ill of any of the shows, but the way that you can manage it, and for those marketing managers, business development managers, or executives on the fence about going to NALMCO that see this, I will tell you, as a new business owner, the money is worth it, but you have to be engaged. You can't just throw money at it and hope it's going to produce fruit if you're not willing to put in the work. If you can't plant the seed, you can't harvest the grain. So with that, NALMCO is a place where things can happen. If I, within the last 3 years, can build a business and then go to NALMCO and commit to going to NALMCO without having the funding of a well-established company, it is possible, and the value is there. Because I look at stuff as a business owner the way a lot of people do. And if I can find the value there, and with as tight as our budgets are, I know your budgets are tight too, but it's worth it. Get yourself involved and get to NALMCO. And before we close this out, I want Eric to just give us a brief glimpse of next year, because we obviously got October. We want everyone there. But I want him just to highlight, what's going on for spring seminar in next March or April.
Is he locked up? Uh-oh, we lost him.
All right.
Well,
I'll highlight that for him. So for NALMCO, their spring seminar will be held in Indianapolis, Indiana next year, and will be hosted by Lead Vance. So they're going to allow people to come tour their facility, so you can see how things are done behind the scenes. But it's going to be a great opportunity. It's more educational. So if you're looking for CE credits, that's a good place to go. So we'll keep going. Devin, I'll let you close this out.
Right on, right on. Well, it's a bummer we lost him, because I wanted to say thank you again to him. Eric is an amazing guy, and he's also about 7 feet tall. So it's always
there he is.
Hey, he's back. There we go. All right, man. Well, we are ready to close out. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing before I close the doors?
Nope. Thanks for having me on, and look forward to seeing everyone in October in Arizona. And thanks for having me on. And any questions, reach out. You know how to get a hold of us, NALMCO's website with all our contact info, and be happy to help out, and looking forward to everyone attending.
All right.
Right on. Well, we
appreciate it, Eric.
Yeah,
absolutely appreciate your time and all your commentary here on the show. So this concludes today's Inside ProCents blog session. Our focus today was on an organization and industry giant whose purpose ultimately is to leave the industry better tomorrow than it was today. ProCents believes highly in this goal, and our two organizations, we believe, are synergistically intertwined to do just that. We are so proud to be a part of the NALMCO family, and we look forward to collaborating with you in the future to see what we can do together to fulfill our mutual missions. Thank you again for your time today, Eric. It was a pleasure to have you on Inside ProCents.
Yep, thank you.
Matt, would you like to say a few words before I hit the button here?
Nah, again, just thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing everyone in October, and then again at the spring seminar in 2023.
Amen. All right. And now, as we always do, we close showcasing our cultural beliefs that drive our every action for our ProCents members. We believe here at ProCents that clear, consistent, and transparent communication practices solve 99% of the inefficiencies and challenges that occur in our daily buyer and seller interactions. So to all of our current and future members, the ProCents culture is very simple, and every member enters and adheres to the ProCents promise. Same-day responses to all communication requests, clear and consistent communication practices for efficient interactions, always turning inward for your organizational needs in a deliberate effort to support all participating members within the ProCents environment. And it goes without saying, but as I always do, I'm going to say it anyway. Do what you say you're going to do, always. At ProCents, we make connections that are sticky and that last. Then we get out of the way. We open the doors, and our members always choose their own path, but they do it together. If you would like to know more about ProCents, check out our website, www.procents.com, or reach out to any one of our leadership team members and get on our calendars. There is no better time than now to get on this train. Thank you all once again. Thank you, Eric, and have a spectacular day.